to my channel, or welcome to my channel. My name is Kenna, and today I wanted to show you guys my propagations that I have going this spring or summer. It's kind of in between spring and summer, but I just did a purge not that long ago, so I don't have a whole lot, but I took some cuttings after I did that purge, and I thought it would be fun to just go through and talk about my propagations and show you guys how I propagate my plants. Okay, so I have a whole video on propagating my plants and how I typically propagate plants. I will have that linked so that if you guys would like to see exactly how I do that, you can go watch that. But basically, I use prop bins and I propagate most of my plants in sphagnum moss. Lately, I've been using fluvial a lot, but typically I like to use the prop bin or propagation box method just because you don't have to check them very often, and I just think it's super easy and self-sustaining, and I just don't have to worry about them as much. So if you'd like to see exactly how I do that, you can go watch that video that I have linked. So starting off, I have this to-go container. Side note, if you do takeout a lot, or even if you just do it occasionally, save your takeout containers and use them for prop bins because it works so well and it's cheap. It's pretty much free. So I'll open this one up, but this is Scindapsus Silver Lady. Mine put out kind of like a runner and it was just kind of awkward, so I chopped it up. And I have a couple nodes in here, and then I have a single leaf cutting, but basically I just covered the bottom of this container in sphagnum moss and liquid earth, and then I put my empty nodes in. I don't think they're rooted yet. No. And then I put all of them in here, and I just have this lid, and actually this takeout container is perfect because it already has like little vents on the side, so it doesn't get too humid in there, but this works wonderful. And typically I put my plants in their own little cup, but if I have a lot of the same plant or I have nodes of all of the same plant, I will do something like this just so I can keep them all in one container. The next thing I have is this little alocasia corm, and I think this is a silver dragon, but I can't really remember. I think that's what it is. But it is rooted and it has a little leaf coming. With my alocasia corms, I just put them in water with a lid on them. This is also a takeout container, and they just do their thing. I found this is the best method to do with alocasia corms. I usually switch them over into moss after they've started growing, but this one I just left and it is doing good. I also have this little prop bin that I use for my peperomia. Let me know in the comments if you guys that are into peperomia would like to see a whole video on how I propagate peperomia, because it's a little bit different. And I found the method I use works really well, but I actually propagate my peperomia in soil, which I don't propagate in soil, but I found with peperomia that's the best way to do it. And I just have some variegated peperomia in here that have done really well. And once they get taller than this container, or once they start getting close to the top, I will move them over into a cup just to give them some more space. But that is kind of a little bit on how I propagate peperomia. Let me know if you would like to see a video on that. Okay, I've shown this one in a video before, but if I have like empty nodes on a plant, or if I have runners that I chop up, I will just throw them into this bin full of sphagnum moss. And I like it because it's kind of a surprise when things start getting leaves, because I forget what they are, and I honestly forget that I even put them in here. And then I will check this box every couple months and find plants that I have put in here a long time ago. So I'll show you. I don't really know what any of this stuff is besides the stuff that has leaves, but it is pretty full in here. I know I have a Syngonium albo right there, and then I'm pretty sure this is a Micin. Could be wrong. This is a Scindapsus truvii, and then I have some, what else do I have? There's some Hoya Weyettii right here, and there's some other stuff that's rooted that is starting to get leaves that I don't know what it is yet. But I think this is really fun, and it's a good way to grow your nodes. Like if you just cut off a leaf and then there's like 3 nodes below it, just chop them up and put them in sphagnum moss and forget about them, and they will make a whole new plant. And I love this because I never know what I'm going to get. Okay, the last one is my actual prop bin, and this is typically how I propagate my plants, unless it's something that is more difficult that I'm gonna put in Fluval, or it's a Hoya. I put most of my Hoya propagations in my Hoya cabinet. That reminds me. This, I moved this up there because I was afraid Tux was going to eat it, but this is a propagation, the only propagation actually I have in my Hoya cabinet. It is a Hoya globulosa. I have wanted this Hoya for so long, and I found one at our local plant swap a couple weeks ago, and I was so excited, and it's already put out this new leaf, but I have it propagating in Fluval, and it just sits in my Hoya cabinet. Okay, so this is my prop bin. If I have a lot of propagations, I'll have a couple of these going, but this is my main one. As you can see, I put stickers all over it, and this is how I propagate most of my plants. So let's see what we got in here. Okay, first up is a variegated peperomia that outgrew my little peperomia bin. Like I said, when they start growing out of that bin, I put them in their own little cup, and I just put them in my prop bin until I get rid of them or pot them up together. The next thing I have, which I've talked about a million times and it's still not doing anything, I have a node of a Philodendron Soderoi in here, and it's not doing anything, but I just have it in sphagnum moss. Most everything in my prop bin will be in sphagnum. I have one thing in here in Fluval, but like I said, I use sphagnum moss the most. So that's what is in my prop bin. Then I have a really pretty Scindapsus Silver Lady that I am saving for a friend, and this one outgrew that little box that I had them in, so I just put it in its own little container in here. And here I have a Philodendron Adibopoense, and I cannot get this thing to root for the life of me. I have tried Fluval, I've tried Perlite, I've tried water, and now we're back to sphagnum moss. And I don't think, nope. I've even put rooting hormone on there, and it's just not, it's not doing it. So I think it might just be a dud, but I'm gonna leave it in here, and we'll see if I ever get some roots. I will also put some propagations in my Ikea cabinets sometimes, just depending on their humidity needs. I like to keep them at the highest humidity possible until they get established and have roots or are showing new growth. And then I will, if it's my personal plant, I will transition them to my Ikea cabinet where the humidity is like 70 to 80, sometimes 90 at night. But in these prop bins, the humidity is around 100. So I like to start them off in high humidity, depending on the plant. If it's just like a common plant or one that doesn't need high humidity, I won't do this. But I like to start them off like that, and then I will transition them over. Next up is a little Hoya Bella. I love this plant, and my mother plant grows like crazy. And if I don't keep it chopped up, it will outgrow my Hoya cabinet, and I don't want that to happen, so I keep cutting it up, and this is a cutting of that. I also have a cutting of my Hoya sigillatus. I don't think it's rooted yet, no. It's kind of coming out of there. But another Hoya cutting I have. And then I also have a philodendron white princess that has reverted, and I just have it in my prop bin in Fluval. I'm crossing my fingers on this one, but I don't think she's going to come back. I got this for free, so it wouldn't be a huge loss. I also have a philodendron postazanum chunk, and it has a root, but it doesn't have a growth point, so we will see what happens with that one. I also have some Silver Hero nodes, and I put these in this prop bin because I wanted to remember which ones they were, because this plant is a little bit more expensive. And these are extremely rooted. And this one is kind of, I don't know if you guys can see it. This one is kind of getting a leaf, hopefully. I also, okay. Does anyone else, I know a couple people and all my friends do, but does anyone else struggle to propagate Monstera Peru? Those things are freaking terrible to propagate. Like I've never struggled to propagate a plant as bad as I have with Monstera Peru. But anyway, I successfully propagated one. And I'm glad because my mother plant died a couple weeks ago, but it is even getting a new leaf. I have so many of those nodes in that box are Monstera Peru, and I guarantee you they're never gonna do anything. But this one is so cute, and I'm definitely keeping it for myself. Here I have a Syngonium albo that is pretty much turned all white. There's like a little bit of green on the node, but I don't know if this one will ever get more green. It's already getting a new leaf and it looks really white, but it's cute while it's alive. Then I also have another Syngonium albo that has a little bit more green. I'm a little bit more hopeful about this one. I think it's gonna do better. Okay, this one has a cool story that I wanted to share with you guys. I got in with a couple people in my area. Well, I don't really know how many people are doing it, but I think there's probably like 20 or 30 maybe. There was a person in my Facebook group that posted about doing an anthurium race. And basically what you do is the person that posted ordered a bunch of seeds from anthurium, and you bought one up front, or two. There was two different kinds, and then you go and pick them up, and every 2 weeks you check in with one another and see how much your anthurium has grown compared to everyone else. And then so we started this at the beginning of June. In October, we're going to finish the race and see who has the biggest anthurium and who has the best anthurium. And then there's gonna be prizes. And we got like rulers that we're gonna measure them with. And I think it's really cool. And I was super excited that they were doing that in my area, but you're allowed to do anything with them. You can grow them in any kind of medium you want, in any kind of environment. It was just basically a free-for-all, and then you see whose does the best. And this is mine, and it is doing so good. I wish I would have taken a picture of it the first day I got it, but it was like half of this size, and it had barely rooted, and it was just like, this leaf had just started popping out of that little seed part, and now it's doing so good. I'm so excited. I just have it in liquid dirt and sphagnum moss in extremely high humidity. So I will keep you updated on this and let you know how the race goes for me. If I don't win, I'm gonna be really disappointed because I'm super competitive and I definitely don't just do things for fun. It's all about winning. Okay, the last plant I have in my prop box is this super pretty Syngonium radii that I think I'm going to have trouble getting rid of because I love this thing. The leaves are super like iridescent green. I don't know, I love this Syngonium and I think it's so cool. All right, so I think that is all I have propagating currently. I'm constantly chopping up my plants and propagating things and selling them and giving them to friends and whatever. So I constantly have new things going in and out of here, but I love my prop box and that is my favorite way to propagate. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or if you want me to make a video on any of this stuff, like a separate video. Just let me know in the comments and I would love to do that. That is going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching and following along. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at Plants by Kenna, and I will see you guys in the next video.